Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be continuing my zodiac sign bracelets, and this one is the Aquarius bracelet. I have quite a few renditions here. I think the back side's cool too, but it doesn't really stay on that side, unfortunately. Now, the only thing with this bracelet is the sizing. I made a ton of them and they all were coming out different sizes, even if I did the same number of bands. So the tighter the band, the smaller the bracelet is going to come out. Most of the kits that come from like the craft store or regular opaque bands from Rainbowloom, they will all come out good using the two looms, which is what I'm going to use today. But if you do use a super tight band that does not have a lot of stretch, you are most likely going to need a third loom, just to let you know. My bracelet came out to only be about 7 inches. So that can help you decide if you need to use a third loom. This bracelet here took 121 bands, and the breakdown of that is 47 of this glitter blue, 27 of the gold, 24 of the brown, and 24 of the blue on the side here. So I'm not going to babble on too much. We can go ahead and get our supplies ready and we can get started. To make this bracelet, you will want to have at least 2 looms set up in a staggered position, and you'll just have one set up in front of the other where the blue base is. I already have a video on my channel showing you how to do the connection, so I will have that linked below or in the eye above. If you need a third loom, you can follow the same instructions and just connect another one down after these two. So the first color that we are going to choose is going to be the blue that's right here on the side. And I am going to use this midnight blue color. And what we're going to do is lay horizontal bands all the way up, except for the last row, but I'll show you that once we get there. So we're just going to come up to this row here and just lay it across like so. Come up to the next pin and do the same thing. So I lay a total of 24 of these, which is all of them except the very last row if you're using 2 full looms. If you're using a third loom, just to give you some type of an idea, this bracelet is almost 8 inches, and I did 32 of the horizontal bands. So, but that was with this type of band that is very tight. It's a jelly type of band, but it holds its shape very well. Like when I stretch it, it immediately goes back to its shape, and that's why I needed so many for that type. So the band definitely, the type of band definitely matters as far as how many looms you will need. So that's the only thing with this bracelet. It was really tricky trying to determine how many looms because I made so many of them and they were all coming out different sizes. So sorry about that. That's the only frustrating thing. But if you're using like regular opaque bands or any bands that are not overly tight, then you should not have a problem. I'm like super exhausted. My son had his prom this weekend and it's been a very busy couple of days. I didn't get this video up on time. I like to get it done on Friday. Right now it's Sunday and I'm just now starting to film. Okay, so I just laid my 24th one. I do not lay one on the last 2 rows. I believe I said 1 in the beginning, but it's actually 2. So make sure you only have 24 of those horizontal bands. Push them down and come back to the beginning. And now we're going to want to decide whatever color you want to use where this gold is. I'm going to use this pale green color, and you're going to lay that just on that center pin for when we close it up. you're going to want to grab another one of the same color, and we're going to lay it straight on the center. And then grab that color one more time. And we're now going to stretch it up, still starting on the center pin, but we're going to stretch it up one more pin, like so. So it should be stretching up to that second one there, like so. So now moving forward, every time we lay the straight center band, it will always be connecting up 2 pins instead of just one like we would normally do. So push that down. And now we're going to choose the color for the side blue, which is these. You can use multiple colors if you want. I'm just going to stick to one color for the video. And that is going to be pink for me. So we're going to be actually alternating the 2 colors here. But for this one, we're going to come up to the second pin here. And we're going to lay one to the left and one to the right. So it makes like a diagonal V. You're going to push that down. After each time we lay our little layer, push it down so we have room for the next one. And we're now going to go back to laying the straight band. So starting on top of the V, you're going to stretch it up, not to the one right in front of it, but up one more. So it should be connecting to 2. Push it down. Go back to your V band color. We'll lay the V. Again, directly on top of the V, you go back to the straight one and connect it up to, I call it the long stretch. So do your long stretch there. And we'll go back to our V. Just to give you a little pointer, like I said already, the green band or whatever color you're using, you'll always start on the pin that the V is on, and then you know where the V band goes because you lay it in order. So I'll show you. You lay your straight one, and then when you grab your next color to go back to, you might say, oh, am I supposed to go up here? No, you always know it's right here because you go right after the last one, if that makes sense. I have tired brain right now. I don't know if you can tell. I'm sure you'll be able to tell by the end of the video. But we're going to continue alternating laying our long, straight, stretched out band and then the V band. So I do think this is pretty simple. You just want to take your time. The only thing I can see people maybe messing up on is starting from this pin instead of making sure you're starting on top of the V with your straight band and making sure you're stretching it up 2 pins and not just the one. So that's the only thing I would say to take your time and keep an eye on. Now, just so you know, we are going to have the straight band coming all the way to the end of the loom, but we will not be doing that with the V bands. I will show you that right here. This is the last place my V-band will go. So the sides of my V-bands, where they stop is where your last horizontal band is. So no more V-bands, and now I'm going to lay one more long straight center, and that's what it should look like. There shouldn't be anything on this row except for that straight band in the middle. So if you didn't do it as we were going along, make sure you go through now and push all of those down so that you're ready for the next layer. We have one more layer to lay. So for this one, we are going to choose the color that is brown on here, that line. I am going to use a hot pink color. And we are actually going to lay horizontal bands again, just like we did on the first ones. So we will start on this first row here. And you're just going to lay it straight across. Come up to the next one. Do the same thing. Very simple. And just like the V-bands, you're going to stop laying this where the last V-bands are, or where the last bottom horizontal is as well. I'll show you when I get down there. So this is where the last one should go, just like all of the other layers. And again, just make sure your last straight band is extending to that last one. So we are going to turn our loom around, facing ourselves. And you also need to grab your hook. Before we start the hooking process, or the traditional hooking process, we need to do something with the top layer that we just laid. So we're just going to be grabbing the back part of that band that we just laid from the center, and you're just going to pull it down and connect it to the pin below it. So towards yourself. Come up to the next one, grab the back part of that horizontal band, and just pull it towards yourself and connect it to the pin below. So come up to this one, make sure you're grabbing the back of it, and bring it down. So you have to do that all the way up before we can actually start the looping process. I just found it much easier to try to do it this way. I actually designed this design with the pins being aligned, and I was just making it so much harder on myself, and I'm like, oh yeah. With them not aligned, it's so much easier because that center pin is in the way. But it's easier doing it with your hook instead of doing it as you lay it. At least I find it much easier this way, much faster. So I just looped my last one. So now what you will want to do before we continue on, go through and definitely push them down now before we start the looping process. It just makes the next step a lot easier. So I did go ahead and push all of mine down, and now you're going to want to grab whatever color you used on the center here for the straight band. That's my green. And we're going to place a cat band on the center here. So now we can start the looping process, and we're actually not going to start by looping where we put the cat band. We're going to be coming up here where the V bands are, which they're not actually V bands anymore because we turned the loom around, but where my pink bands are going like this, and we're going to be looping them from the center down to themselves. So I'm going to grab my hook, zoom in here a little. We're going to come up to this pin here. You're going to push out that band that we just laid there. You're going to grab the top band that's inside of there and bring it back to itself, which will be down to the left. Go back into that band and grab the next layer, which is this one, and bring that down to itself. Come up to the next section, and it will always just be this one band that's in the way. And then you have to grab the diagonal band that's on there and bring it down. Like so. I gotta tell you, I am so not liking my S23 camera. The way that it just keeps auto-focusing. I know I said that in my last video, but it's really awful for me, for filming. I'm not liking it. I miss my old phone. So anyway, we're going to continue looping these diagonally down. If you go to grab one of your diagonal bands and this top band goes to pop off, if you still have a hold of the diagonal band, just continue, connect it, and then you can pop this band back on. Like if this pops off like that, you can just pull it back over. It does happen to me sometimes, that's why I'm bringing it up. And this is definitely easier done, kind of tilt it to the side like this. Because of the way you need to kind of flip your wrist to reconnect it. So we are just going to do this until we reach the very top of the loom. I actually made like so many of these. I think I already told you that, but I just had a lot of fun making this one. And it's quick too. And this is actually the last one that we have to loop. So we didn't have anything on the top. So just go through, make sure you didn't miss looping any down. I would be the one to probably miss it because I look at my camera and then on to my loom, but I look like I didn't miss any, so that's good. So once you do that, we're going to come back to the very beginning where we put the cap band. We're going to push that cap band out of the way, grab the bottom, and we're going to loop that band forward and connect it. Once you connect it, we now need to grab the remaining horizontal band, and we're going to now pull it towards yourself and place it on the pin. So that's what it looks like. You'll go in that same pin. Every time I go to loop, it wants to go blurry on me. Oh, because my hand is so close to the camera. Let me zoom out. So we're going to go inside, grab the very bottom band, which is the straight band, connect it onto the pin. And then you need to grab this straight band that's back here, the only one left right there. Pull it towards yourself, place it in front of the pin. Once you do that, you'll go inside that same pin, grab the straight band that's in there, and bring it forward. And we'll be alternating. So we'll bring that forward, and then you bring this one towards yourself and sit it down like so. Go back inside that pin. Now, if you push too far back when you go down, you're going to end up grabbing that horizontal band that's in there. So try not to push too far. Try not to push too far back. Just do it enough that you got to get down in there to get the straight band. And you guys, I am so sorry about the camera, like the blurriness, the focusing. It's driving me crazy. I'm going to use my old phone and start using that to film, because I'm not liking how every time I go to lift it and like try to loom, it keeps going blurry and stuff. So I do apologize. In the future, I will be using my old phone for filming. So just bear with me through this one. But again, we're just gonna, I looped that straight. So now we need to grab this straight band here. Bring it towards yourself, sit it on the pin, and then you go back into that same pin to loop that straight. Bring the horizontal band over the pin, go back in that same pin, and loop the bottom band straight. And we will continue to alternate that all the way up. My phones have always worked really, really good for me for filming, but I might have to start considering investing in a camera. It's just so easy for me to film, edit, and then upload from my phone, because I'm not real good with cameras. But if these phones keep acting up, I might not have a choice. I'm on my last one here, and I'm just bringing that straight, like so. So all of my center is done. If you're caught up with me, you're going to come back to the beginning. And now we already looped the center here, so we're going to come up to the sides. And now we're going to be looping both sides of the very bottom band forward. So that dark blue color, that horizontal band that's going around these two, both sides of them are going to go straight up. So it doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm going to start on the right. And I'm going to be pushing the top 3 layers out of the way to grab the very bottom band. And then you're just going to pull it forward and connect. Now the left side's going to be a lot tighter because this is all one band. But we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to come into this pin and move the top 3 layers out of the way. Grab the very bottom. And you're going to stretch that up and connect. Like I said, you are going to feel a lot of tension on that band. And hopefully none of your bands break. So we're not going to this pin here. You're just making sure to move everything on top out of the way so you can get the most bottom band that's on that pin and it goes forward. Now if you want to run all the way up the right side and then come back and do all the left, you can certainly do that. Or you can do each side at the same time. That's completely up to you. I am just going to keep going right to left all the way up. My left side's much harder because that's the side that has the most tension. This is a really easy design. In my opinion, it is anyway. If you find it hard, I apologize. But I think it's easy and it's really quick to make. And I really like how it looks. It probably would be a lot faster to just go up one side. I usually do that for the video's sake. Stick to one side. I don't know what made me do both at one time today, but that's how I've been doing it the whole time. So it's just a habit for this particular bracelet, but I think it would be easier. We are getting near the top. I'm at the top pins here, and we're just going to bring those into the center. Like so. If you're ready to jump off, please, please, please use your hook to release these sides. If you just try to yank this off of the loom, it is not going to come out right. Trust me, trust me, trust me on that. It will not look right. I tried it and it completely distorted the V-bands and ruined the whole design. So hopefully everyone continued watching. Oh, and I'm just doing this without telling you. So make sure you go into the center pin to grab that loose band that we laid in there, so that you can bring both ends together so that we can close it. And this is where you will attach your C-clip. And like I said, make sure you use your hook and just go through and release all of the sides, both sides, all the way up and down, and then you can pull up on the middle to take it off. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I will show you my finished bracelet when I'm done. So when I take mine off, I do have to give it a stretch just to help things fall into place. And then you're just going to locate your cap band here on the end and your C-clip and connect it together. Like so. And that's it. There is my completed Aquarius bracelet. I like those colors together. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope my focus and the blurriness was not an issue for you. I do apologize if it was. If you had any trouble following this at all, please let me know. If you do like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button down below. And also, if you make a rendition, you can find me on Instagram and share yours with me under Loves to Loom. I love seeing your creations. And that's it, guys. So I will be continuing more of the zodiac signs. I do not know which one I'm going to be doing next, but I promise I will get to all of them. But for now, this is it, and I will see you soon at my next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.